All right, hi, hello everybody. This is OSS February week 4 demo, and we're starting it off with Colin with some of the changes he's made.
So this actually starts with some of the changes that Devin has made, cleaning up the Docker work that I had done, finding a different way to do that, something we think is going to be more maintainable, easier to put in the open source world, and then also some of the logging changes he's made. So I've just built the various images we've got here, last second changes before a demo, because that's how you do it. So it builds the new images. We see in the logs, we've got Envoy logging, gRPC proxy logging. The different things are all logging together when I run this particular kind of command, the API itself, the worker. And we see some familiar logs from the worker itself. To show the work that's been happening already, so we've got a raw gRPC API that we were previously able to work with, where JavaScript was directly interacting with the API and doing things. And we're seeing chat from my wife. We're seeing that we can get deltas and snapshots. Now, this week, we also have, on top of all that existing stuff, a HTML page, which is able to use the Deephaven JavaScript API and grab a session from the current server, create a timetable, and then tell us, yes, it worked properly. We can't yet filter, sort, take snapshots, get viewports on it, but we can do these other changes here. One more little thing to show Devin's work with logs. If we just run things as a daemon and then, follow the logs here. So immediately we get unauthenticated because the browser is trying to reconnect because it thinks it's able to do that, and it's wrong. If I restart this then and watch the logs, we've got these nice columns set up here to say what the timestamp was, what the thread was, what the log level was, the class it came from, and the message.
All right, very cool. All right, next we have Nate showing some of the progress he's made with exported notification listeners. So Nate.
So this week I've been working on export notification listeners. One thing that's true in the gRPC world is that you don't get a lot of control over what might fail, and it's not an everything fails at once kind of scenario, which is how it kind of is in enterprise. And so you need to be able to kind of like reestablish your information of what exports you have available, so you can close out of state or know what state you might need, what might be able to be reused, or what you might need to re-ask for. So I modified my client from last week to basically create 3 different export notification listeners. And when they connect, they get a refresh of kind of like what's happening. So the first one connects when there's nothing actually yet exported, and then it exports the 2 tables from before, or it actually exports 1 table and then exports a subscription for out-of-band subscriptions on that table. And then it'll get a refresh at that point in time. We'll be able to see, I'll show you in a second, that we have both of those exports showing up in the refresh. And then after the second one is released, I get another refresh, and you'll see that that export is no longer in there. So first I'm going to filter this by the new log message that I'm spitting out on the client based on this as this listener. So in the very first one, basically we get a refresh is complete because nothing was yet exported. And then we actually see the export notifications as those 2 exports go through the stages to become exported. I believe this first one is the table that we're actually going to listen to, and then the second one is that subscription that we can modify out of band. I'm going to skip over the browse messages, which are from last week's demo. And then here I go and ask for a second refresh. And so you can see it's just telling me that those 2 exports are already exported. And then I unsubscribe from that, so I don't get additional updates. That's why you only see this one release here. When the second export gets released, this is the out-of-band subscription. And then when I go and ask for another refresh, I'm only seeing that that first table is available. And that's my demo for the week.
All right, very cool. All right, next up I've got some changes I've been making with publishing packages. So when we move into the OSS world, we want to be able to reuse some of our code in the enterprise world as well. And to do that, we need to publish our packages somewhere. So while we're developing, we're just going to be publishing these packages to our GitHub packages registry, and then we can pull that in on our existing enterprise repo if we want to. So right here, this is our the OSS GitHub repo, and I've added a couple of packages here that are some of our tools for configuring our linter tools. So I'll change this config to a test config, which gets rid of the single quote thing so that everything has double quotes. And then I just add that to updating test. I just publish that package, and it'll actually come up with this GUI to automatically update the version number. So it's currently alpha 8, and it'll update it to alpha 9. And then that automatically publishes it to GitHub. And this is all in our private GitHub registry repo. So you can see here's version 8. Now it's version 9 once it refresh. Now if I go over to my other, this is the enterprise workspace. I have a demo app here that's pulling in that same config. And what I can do is I can update that package. So it's still at version 8. And then, oops, I'm in the wrong directory, I think. CD packages demo app. There we go. And then this will update the version from version 8 to version 9. And that will update all the rules for linting. So right now you see everything has double quote, single quotes. What if I close and reopen this workspace? Now if I now it'll show up as an error because I've updated the linting rules. And if I save, it'll automatically update with the new formatting with double quotes. And that's all I have for this week. All right. And that's all the OSS team has for this week. So take it easy. Have a good weekend, everyone.